Hey teachers, instructional guide for primary one. This is primary two. What am I saying? Primary two, term 1, week 11. Okay, so for this week, two booklets, followed by the test paper. All right, and this is the test paper as homework. Okay, for booklet 1, we are looking at multiplication. So looking back of what they learned in primary 1. Okay, basically at this point in time, they're still learning multiplication in terms of groupings. So question here, there are 4 baskets and there are 3 apples in each basket. So that means 4 groups of 3, right? 4 groups of tray with 3 apples each. And the way to expand it, right? 4 groups of 3 is 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 equals 12. So 4 groups of 3 equals 12, or we can say 4 trees, right? Written this way equals 12. Or we can say 4 times 3 equals 12. So basically, times stands for groups of. Okay. You can let them know that 4 times 3 and 3 times 4 is the same. Or rather, no, sorry, it's different, but the answer is the same, right? How is it different? So, for example, 4 plates of 3 apples or 4 trays of 3 apples would be different than 3 trays 3 trays of 4 apples, right? The number of apples is the same, okay, but difference would be the number of trays, right? That are different. Okay, so for word problem, that matters. Okay, so there you go, right? Multiplication, there are 3 jars, each jar contains 2. How many bits altogether? So it's 3 groups of 2, 3 times 2 equals 6. They don't have to memorize times table now, right, at this point in time, but they do need to know that 3 times 2 equals 3 groups of 2. 2 plus 2, you can see here, 2 plus 2 plus 2, right? Okay, illustrate them for them, illustrate this for them as well. So what about situation like this? Can they use multiplication to help them? Is this 3 groups of 2? 2 groups of 3? No, they can't, right? Because they are not equal, right? The number of bits in each of these jars are not equal. So hence, if it's not put into equal groups together, you cannot use multiplication. You can only use addition. So it's be 2 plus 3 plus 1. Okay. And I think they should understand the concept because most of them, they've been through K2 with us and as subsequently primary 1. So just get them to do the guided practice, okay, or in class, and corrections for them as when necessary, but it should complete all the guided practice all the way to page 8. And then after that, I would skip some of these questions, okay, and get them to do question 2A, where they are required to write the equation, right? So here, you might want to do one with them first, right? How many groups are there? There are 3 groups, and each group has 4 erasers. So the equation is 3 times 4 equals, so they can add on 4, 8, 12, right? Or some of them are perhaps are still counting one by one. That's fine as well, right? It's more about understanding. Then after that, get them to do B on their own, right? See, they understand that this is 2 times 9. Okay. And then I'll skip to one question, perhaps in E, right? Get them to do on their own. Now they have to write the equation on their own, right? Is this 7 groups of 4 or 4 groups of 7? So you need to see that this is actually 4 groups of 7, right? If they write 7 groups of 4, please tell them that is wrong. 7 times 4 is wrong, right? Why? Because there are 4 groups here, and each group there are 7 border caps. Okay. Then we do a question 3A here. How many squares are there? So this is different interpretation. This is what we call 2 groups of 7, and this is what we call 7 groups of 2, right? 7 groups here. You might want to draw out the 7 groups, right? If it's not clear for them. Okay, so no problem. Just do it like this. Whereas this one, 2 groups. Sorry, part of my drawing. Okay. Then if they are not sure, can get them to do one with question, but I think should be relatively easy. Do one with question here. Okay. And remember that they have to write the equation and they have to write the statement. Right? The rest are quite simple. Perhaps to get them to write a story, try writing my multiplication story so you can guide them along. Right? We got helping with seal flower all together pots, Jenny. So you can write things like there are 5 pots of flowers, right? 3 flowers are in each pot, or each pot has 3 flowers. Okay. and then a question, or rather, they don't need a question here, so just write a statement. So write the equation, 5 times 3 equals 11. So there are 15 flowers altogether. This line should actually go here, the final statement. Okay. And I think the rest you can assign as homework. Let's move on to book number 2, which is on division. Now for division, there are some keywords that they need to look out for, right? But let's do looking back first. How does it work? So 8 cookies, and you put cookies equally onto 4 plates. So that means that you need to put 1 cookie one by one until you fill up all the plates, and you find that you get 2 cookies per plate, right? So what about if he puts 4 cookies on each plate? How many plates are there? Right, there are 2 plates. Okay, so important to know that the term here is 2 cookies in each group, right? And 2 groups are different, right? The term, right? So you need to explain that these are 2 cookies in each group. This one here is 2 groups. So they need to know what it refers what the question is referring to, right? When the question asks for the container, right? They are really asking for the groups, right? When the question asks for the cookies, then they're looking on the items in each group. Please emphasize this for them. So again, now there's one for them to practice. Or not practice, to go through another one here. Leah has 12 muffins. All right, she puts muffins equally into 3 plates, so into 3 groups. How many muffins are there on each plate? Which means one group has how many muffins? Right, so they sort it out like that. They realize that it's 12 divided by 3. So 12 divided by 3, you get 4 muffins, right, on each plate, right, when they work it like that. So one way you can teach them to do it is to, because it's put in 3, instead of putting muffin one by one here, right, last time we used to do it, right, 1, 2, and so what I can do is, if we can visually split up into 3 plates, 3 extra groups this way, then they know they can find answer, right, on each group, or in each group how many muffins there are, just like what is done here. Okay, get them to do guided practice, right? Question is in each jar, right? And then now this one is how many groups are there? That's the difference, right? Not how many balloons are there in each group, right? How many groups are there? So so the question is usually how many in each group and how many groups are there, right? So they need to be able to differentiate. So get them to do the guided practice, all of them. Okay, and then I would say rest of it. Let me see. Okay, I would get them to do C on page 15 and D on page 16. Reason is these are 2 different questions. This question is asking how many groups are there, and then this question is asking how many erasers are there in each group. So make sure that they're able to do it properly. One common mistake is when they try to divide into 10, right? And then they perhaps, well, this one is quite quick, 10 groups. So just pick 10 and then circle 10. So this one is easier, but this one, right, sometimes they may have a problem of circling 2 instead, right? They do it this way. Okay, then it becomes, they still get answer because now they are counting the number of groups, but the question is asking for each group. So 10 divided by 2 is actually splitting it into groups. So make sure they do it properly that way. Okay, you can get them do a few more practices if you like. So question 6 is good to do because that differentiates, right, how you divide 10 triangles into 2 groups and how you divide 10 triangles into groups of 5. So let's see again the difference, right, into groups of 2. Sorry, this is not 2 groups, into groups of 5, 2, and into groups of 5. Okay, whereas this one is into 3 equal groups, right? So now they got to split into 3 equal groups. So maybe do these questions here on page 19 and page 20. Okay, then do one word problem with them. Okay, again, can you see a difference? This is asking for number of groups. This is asking for number of items in each group. right? And then I think we should be fine. If there is time, right, work on one story with them, right? Work on one story with them here. Okay, so there are 15 toy bears, right? And then any person, Angela, pack them into 3 bags, into 3 equal bags. Okay, pack them into 3 equal bags. Okay, question would be how many toys are there? How many toy bears are there in each bag? And that's it, right, for primary 2 this week. Thank you.